All right, this is section 6 for day 2, areas of other figures. Our objective is the same as it was yesterday, so you do not have to worry about rewriting it. We're going to start by going through the 2 problems that you were supposed to try on your own yesterday. Now, what I would do for this first one, and note that there are multiple ways to do this, I would look at this piece as a rectangle. Rectangles are easy. To find the area of this rectangle, I just take base times height. I know the height must be 12. I know the base must be 15. So 12 times 15 gives me an area of 180 for that piece. That means that this piece over here is best described as a trapezoid. I've got a base, and then this would be my height. Now I have to do a little work to figure out those numbers. If this whole bottom is 27, and I know that this piece right here has to be 15, 27 minus 15 will give me a length of 12 over here for my height. Similarly, I'm going to find this base by knowing that this whole thing is 12, and this piece over here is 9, which means this part must be 3. So now I find the area of this trapezoid by doing 1/2 times my height, which was 12, times my sum of my bases, which is 3 plus 12. So that gives me an area of 90 for that trapezoid. So now I have a 180 and I have a 90. I add those 2 pieces together to get a grand total area of 270 square feet. This is your second figure that you have. One way to do this is to cut this into a rectangle and this into a triangle, and then we have a third rectangle in the middle here. So this first one is the easy one because we know its sides are 3 and 6, and it's a rectangle, so its area is 18. All right. Now, we know if this piece is 2 and this whole side is 3, clearly this has to be a 1 in there. So this rectangle in the middle is 6 wide and 1 high, which means its area is 6 times 1, or just 6. And then finally, we'll look at this triangle on the end. We know that this height has to be 3 because it's the same as the height over on the left. But we need to find our base here. This whole long side is 16, and I know that this piece over here is 6. I also know that this piece in the middle is 6. So 6 and 6 and 4 makes 16. So the area of this triangle is 1/2 times my base of 4 times my height of 3, which is 6. So my grand total area is 18 plus 6 plus 6, which is 30 square meters. All right, now we're going to go back to trapezoids for a moment. Remember, for a trapezoid, we have to identify the height and the 2 bases first. So our height takes that right angle, so our height is 8. Our bases are the 12 and the 24. So to find the area, we do 1/2 times my height of 8 times the sum of my bases, which is 12 plus 24. 1/2 times 8 is 4. 12 plus 24 is 36. 4 times 36 is 144 square meters. Try this one. All right, to do this one, our height is 20. Our bases are 32 and 64. So our area is 1/2 times 20 times 32 plus 64. 1/2 times 20 is 10. 32 plus 64 is 96. 10 times 96 is 960 square feet. All right, now we're going to get into some of those weird looking shapes. This first one even gives you a dotted line to show you that it's made up of 2 figures. On the right-hand side here, we have a square. Let's start with that square. 19 by 19 by 19 by 19. Its area is 19 times 19, which is 361. All right, now let's look on the right-hand side. I have a set of parallel sides. This one is not parallel to this one though, so it is a trapezoid. Our height has to be this 18 since it is perpendicular to the two bases. So the 24 and the 30 are our bases. So the area of that is 1/2 times 18 times 24 plus 30, which is 9 times 54, which gives me 486 is that area. Now our grand total area, we have to add those two pieces together. 486 plus 361 makes 847 square meters as our final answer. And now one more weird looking one. For this one, you can notice that we have a rectangle in the middle, and then we have two triangles on the sides. Let's start with this rectangle. The rectangle has a height of 15 and a base of 25. Remember, we can't use the 50 because it's that whole width, including those triangles. So 25 times 15 is 375. All right, we've got the rectangle taken care of. Now the two triangles. This length right here in the triangle has to be 15 minus this chunk of 5. So that part is 10. Along the bottoms, we have a grand total of 50, but a 25-kilometer long chunk taken out of the middle. So I know that these two triangles are not the same size on both sides, but for our purposes, we're going to call this one 12.5 and this one 12.5, because in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to affect which one's longer, isn't going to change the area. So to find the area of that triangle, I do 1/2 times my base, which is 12.5, times my height, which is 10. 1/2 times 12.5 times 10 is 62.5. And this triangle over here on the right has the same height, the same base, so its area is also 62.5. Now for our grand total, we take our two 62.5s and that 375 from the middle, add them all up, and we get 500 square kilometers. Here's your assignment. For the puzzle, note that you will have to cut out the pieces on the second sheet. So you're not going to cut out the two-sided piece of paper. I made an extra copy on the back of those a little bigger. And then we will have a quiz tomorrow.